Hey.
Hi there. People in the box.
I know.
Well, I guess the secret's out now. Like we
kept it a secret who we were interviewing.
I know, that's awesome.
I know when we set everything up with our feeds tonight, like Liz didn't use a thumbnail, so it automatically used the cover photos at each place. And like mine, I put up Richard Ramirez, a shirt that we're going to be making, and also like, are you interviewing someone from Richard Ramirez? Like, I was like, I don't know what to say right now. I'm so sorry.
I literally messaged him.
Very happy that we're interviewing you, Kelly, tonight.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And it was like, it looks like we're like going to be interviewing Richard Ramirez's daughter. I don't even think he had a daughter.
He had a daughter.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, we're not.
Well, technically, we don't know who I belong to, so I could be anybody's.
So, hi, Natalie.
Hey, Mama.
Tam.
Ray.
Connor. Sykes. It was only a minute ago we were here.
Hello, Maud.
And your support
chicken.
Yeah, how did you know? She's my emotional support chicken. This is one of them.
I was actually removing things. I was like, she's gonna have her remove some support chicken, and I'm like, this is like, I'm gonna play this video. I was like, no, we gotta play this video.
All right.
So,
hey, Connor, how you doing?
Hold on, I'm getting everybody's hellos and hellos to everybody. And so what we are doing tonight is we are talking to Kelly about her father. And we are going to talk about some of the psychological effects that living with a man of that, can I say caliber?
I'm spilling beer around how to fuck
has affected like her past or her present, and just family even.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know. So yeah, I'm gonna have you start. Like,
Kelly,
tell us what you want to know or what you want to tell us.
Before we start, can I just say
it's generic Excedrin, and then we can proceed.
Can I just say I'm actually very much liking your house. I think I've only seen you at Chaos's house mostly.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And I do enjoy Chaos's house. Chaos has a very nice place. I like how they have things set up when you guys do.
Yeah, that's his corner. Squeaks is that's she actually inherited that house. It was passed down, so the house is an old family tradition. Yeah, after the live, I'll pan around and show you the motorcycle in the dining room.
I did see that one time. Actually, I was like, "This is awesome."
She was telling me about it. She was telling me about it last night, and I was like, "No, the cat's laying on the kickstand."
There you go.
And she's like, "No, I have something under the kickstand." I was like, "Wait! The motorcycle's in the house."
Can we just acknowledge that how awesome Kelly is for doing this interview next to her bike?
Thanks, man. Rock on,
Right. All right, so let's get into this. Not to push everything along here, but let's. Can we start off from the very start and how things went in there? And and I'll say this: if things get a little, dicey or whatnot, I apologize. I am not pressuring you to tell any more than what you want to do.
I don't mean to interrupt, but you're good. Like I told you, I've had an entire lifetime to process this. So there's really, there's no limits. I don't mind talking about it.
So can I start with, prior to your knowledge of the events that happened, what was it like living with him anyway?
Oh, dear God. It was nerve-wracking on a daily basis. Okay. He had a long history of violence. Like back as far as his younger days before I was ever even thought of. And you never knew which one you were going to encounter. Were you going to wake up to the dude that's going to take you out and teach you how to work on the tractor and, be his little buddy? Or is he going to have a bad day at work and knock your face off? Literally. You never knew who you were going to get from day to day. The guy that would, take us and put our butts on the third row of the church every Sunday morning, dressed up the perfect American family, spotless, clean little country kid. And, the wife that made the best fried chicken and pie in the neighborhood. Or were you going to get a psychopath that might, want to beat you in the head with a belt later today?
Jeez.
Is this, so I know we're going into your history and stuff like that, but so with your father, was it something that was, was the abuse? I mean, clearly from
Was he abused
he was abused.
as when he was
Well,
younger?
Was he born a psycho? I mean, psychopaths are born, sociopaths are made.
Well, I don't really think he was abused, but he was raised by or poorly educated, but good-hearted people that, back then, they were born in, my grandparents were born in 11 and 1914.
So they're
So they raised their children to act right, basically.
So he was definitely acting out
Well,
against them.
I've been told that, the violence goes back several generations with the men.
Oh wow.
so
But like my grandfather, he was the hero. He was the one that, if he was around, wasn't nobody messing with me or my mother.
Good.
But unfortunately, he died when I was like 5. So yeah. So after that, it was like, it was a free for all, day to day of who are we getting.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we? I mean, we went through this. Why don't we go ahead and get into your like I said,
What he did?
if it gets too, I guess we'd say triggering and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and get. We can stop. But if let's go ahead and get into the history of everything like that, and how everything, like first memories and stuff like that. If you don't mind, I don't want to push.
Sure.
I'm trying to be very
you're good. Oh, really,
You're being a little too PC right now, babe.
I can say this. I've gone through. For myself, when I was a kid, I was molested by neighbors and stuff like that. I've gone through the therapy. I've gone through everything like that for myself. So I do understand abuse, trauma, and PTSD and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I'm actually saying, like, you know what? For me, I can talk about this. I can, if you guys ask, I'll tell my story. So I do understand when it comes to another person, it's something that's it's personal. It's either extremely personal and they're going to keep a tight grip on it, or they're going to I want to talk about this and I want to explain, what happened. So,
by the way, this is one of our new contributors, contributors, content artists. Yeah, tell us about, if you can, what led up to the main event that we are speaking of.
Okay. I think can I touch on one little spot before we go there as far as the history?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I'm going to condense it. When I was little and hang out at my grandmother's, this really nice lady would call every now and then. And it was my job to answer the phone when I was at my mom's house, because, she was always doing something. So she'd send me to go get the phone or do whatever. We were farm kids, move the tractor, get the phone, same thing. But this nice lady would call to talk to my grandmother. And when I got old enough, she told me who that lady was. And she was Daddy's first wife that none of us knew about. And she stayed in touch with my grandmother, and he nearly beat her to death.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Literally, she took off and was never seen or heard from again, except by my grandmother. So, and he was a drunk back in the 60s, and they got me in 72. So right before they got me, like literally right before, he quit drinking, just cold turkey, and never drank again, to the best of my knowledge, because they said he was a mean drunk. I can't imagine.
I mean, drunk, and he was who he normally was.
So he was a very terrible person, sober.
Yeah. He had issues, to say the least. And and my mother that raised me, I was actually adopted. These are my adopted parents. But he used to beat the living crap out of her, man. She was legally blind. She had a retinitis pigmentosa. It's like, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's progressive disease. Yeah, and if you get like shots to the head, it makes it worse. And he always would hit her in the head, backhand her in the face, and poor old thing. She never saw it coming most of the time,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways, what was the question?
The events that led up to.
Yes.
Everything.
Okay, I was somewhere roughly around 5th grade or so. I don't remember exactly what year of my life it all was, but somewhere 10, 11 years old. I think we were gone by the time I was 12, 13 at the oldest, like gone.
Mhm.
But he had started cheating on my mother with the lady up the road, like literally at the end of our driveway.
Oh, wow.
And we couldn't prove it, but and he was an avid deer hunter, but he'd like get dressed up, put on cologne to go deer hunting. And then all of a sudden, you'd see her vehicle leave. Like, we're not stupid. And we can see you. You're 200 yards from our front door. We can see you. I mean, it's just blatant right there. And but what led to the actual incident was, I mean, we're just theorizing on it from what we observed, all of us, not just myself and my mother, but other people in the community, including a couple of his own relatives that lived in the neighborhood. Thanks, Odd Mama. But the lady that he was cheating on my mother with had been next door at the old fella's house, and she's been married several times, and she was a fairly attractive woman back then. I mean, she's not ugly, now I don't know how old she is, but I talked to her recently. So she's a pretty good looking gal, but she'd been up there, doing whatever at the neighbor's house. And our theory is that he got jealous or something. And next thing you know, there's cops all over the neighborhood and questions and things are happening. And yeah, and for those of you who don't know the story, we're about to get to that part. But yeah. It was hi Azazel. Sweet. Far out, man.
Well, not to be
Squirrel.
Sorry.
Shiny crap.
And yes, he was this, and this. And you know what? Let's have a lighthearted moment for a second.
That's the plan. That is the plan. Well, you know how we are here on this show. We try to add some lighthearted stuff into here and there. Obviously, we're not going to make fun of people within these situations, but we will joke with people in the audience, just like the squirrel moments.
Like I said,
I'm still doing this with my rubber chicken in hand.
I've got my beers.
I have edibles over there.
For me, I've gone through abuse. I've gone through everything like that. Like, not my parents were perfect. They treated me right. It was my neighbors. I understand PTSD. I understand everything that is going on here. So I am not joking around about this. I am intently listening, and I do have questions whenever I need to ask a question.
Yeah.
So.
I do have some long-term glitches that I still haven't and probably never will get past. And I said, if somebody moves really quick and like raises a hand next to me, I'll twitch.
Well,
and people that yell and get loud and especially men that get up, if they're animated, start getting closer to me and talking loud, it freaks me out.
That's a big thing for me. Like, I need
a bigger bubble than other people, it seems like.
That's a big thing for me because with everything that happened to me in my past with neighbors and stuff like that, I don't deal well with loud noises. I don't deal well with screaming. I don't deal well with name calling. I don't deal well even seeing stuff like that. Like, I will snap. Even
joking around, I know with him, I can't be like some of my best friends, I can be like, "What's up, fucker?"
Mm-hmm.
But I would not. I don't do that with him.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. So like. I mean, I when he and I first got together, he knew that I've been in several abusive relationships as well, and other abuse throughout my life, which I don't need to get into right now. But I remember one time he moved too fast, and I went like this, just out of a reaction. It wasn't because I thought he was about to hit me or anything. I'm grabbing a PS4 controller. What's going on?
He was like,
I'm like, whoa.
We're standing there, and he moved his hand, and I went like this. I think we were about to hug or something. I don't know, but I was looking away for a second.
I'm about to karate chop while hugging. Like, whoa. Hey, whoa.
I was looking away for a split second, and he went to grab me, and I went, ah!
Damn, I hate when that happens. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I'm like, I know that twitch.
It happened to me earlier today with one of my workers. One of my guys. I was sitting there I was on my computer and he's a super awesome guy, and he immediately comes up to me and goes like this on my left shoulder right here, and he goes like that, and I literally stood up to go around like this. And I was like, "Oh no!
You're on my hair."
He's just making sure that I know he's there. And it was like it snapped like that. I was like, no. But then I had to go, no. He's making sure that I know he's there behind me. He's not touching me. He's not doing anything else other than that. It's literally that. It's stuff like that, and I totally understand.
I'm sorry about that, Ray.
So,
we're all a bunch of train wrecks in this room. Yeah.
To get into that real fast, I know this is about your history.
You are like so ADD today.
But we all have our issues. Excuse me. Sorry. We all
My
have our issues, and then you see our whole show is about serial killers. Whereas you have bunches of people who like go off and do messed up, fucked up shit, and then here's us who are like, we had messed up passes, but we are kind of loving people,
Yeah, with really weird tempers.
Yes.
Strange triggers, little things that'll either get you dismissed or knocked out,
I want to murder people if I hear them chew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, more so than anybody.
No, I've just about thrown something at somebody.
I will walk away before, like, you'll see me grab my food, get up, and leave the house.
I'm sorry,
to eat
Ray.
my food outside. So, enough about the squirrel moments. Let's get back into the history and everything.
Yeah, our good people tuned in to hear her story. And by the way, just a little shout out. My good friend Eddie Sick and Cassidy names all of my rubber chickens. These are our love chickens. He's like the stepfather, basically, or godfather to all my rubber chickens. And he named this one Pecker.
By the way, you might be getting a green and a blue one soon because I found them.
Yes. You can never have too many rubber chickens.
See, that's what I say with rubber duckies. I used to have about 200.
I love them. I'm sorry, I love them.
All right, so
let's get into this more if we can.
She was seen at the neighbor's house.
Yeah.
And things went south.
I think so, yes. Yeah. So should I just get to the good part of the story?
Yeah, let's.
Let's get into it.
Let's say the juicy part, not the good part. I don't think there is an actual.
But I know what she meant.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. So, we have to do this every time we talk about killers. We're like, this is the great, not the great part, but this is the part everyone wants to hear about.
But yes, they're very cool. I'm the one that always roots for the serial killer. I want Jason to not drown. I want Michael to have a good, sharp, fresh knife. That sounds terrible. Action for everybody.
The best part is I get it.
Yeah.
We all watch the movies for the train wrecks. We all watch them and we're like, you know what, Michael Myers.
I'll sit there and be like, you dumb whore, you shouldn't have been running through the freaking woods in heels.
You know what, you guys
exactly. If you're dumb enough to camp from that, you need to go.
If you guys treated Jason awesomely, he would be here saving everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but he was a Deadite, so.
Well, that's an alternate universe, but
anyway.
So let's get on with it. So, on to the good part of the story. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, it was shortly after, her wandering off to the neighbors every now and then. We had all noticed. Shortly after that, and I did mention he was an avid deer hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He had no problem bringing. I need to state this so the rest will make sense. He had no problem bringing a deer in the middle of the night, waking me up to help dress it out, and we would completely slaughter and package it, put it in the fridge, in the freezer, in the middle of the night. It was normal for us because we lived on a little farm, and it was like 70s and 80s, and we'd harvest our own vegetables, kill our own meat for the most part. We seldom ever got anything from a grocery store. Didn't need that much from it, but so that was normal to bloody hunting clothes, totally normal. Okay, you grow up seeing what this looks like. You know what it looks like. It's unmistakable.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the event. Our neighbor was stabbed to death. He had a minimum of a dozen stab marks from his neck up only. He had a bludgeon mark, a hole about an inch and a half deep in his forehead. Okay. This poor old man had tried to crawl under his car to get away from whoever was attacking him. Okay. It was before DNA came out, so there was no way to pull evidence like that. His dog had gotten to him because this happened overnight. He was found really early the next morning. His dog had gotten to him and licked him, so a lot of evidence was gone there. Even if there was DNA, the dog pretty much licked him clean, from what I understand. Okay. That morning, we get up. There's cop cars all over the neighbor's house, and we lived in a community, the central community. We had the core neighborhood was 12 people. We know each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We know each other,
exactly.
and you can see all of our houses from each other's house. You step out the door, you can wave and say hi to everybody in the neighborhood. So the next morning, and Daddy never just casually left for work. He hauled ass, and like I said, we lived in the country. And from the end of our driveway, you pull out onto the roads, and it's just a one, just a single little country road, and it still doesn't have any lines on it. To this day, it doesn't have stripes, and there's weeds, and it's all nature out there. There's 6 foot of Johnson grass. For those of you not from the South, it's a really tall weed. They get.
Granted, I grew up here in California, but we're at Bakersfield, where I grew up a good 10, 15 miles away from where I'm at right now. It's still that way today. And that's the reason why I keep
outside of Pumpkin Center? Or?
Old River.
Old River?
That's the reason why I keep saying in our personal chat, I live in Little Texas, because it was very much that way, even here in town.
Well, she's been here.
Yeah. Oh, you see my house?
Yeah, you live in Texas with palm trees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, but we also have agave, so don't forget that.
Yes, we have agave. We have what's the other? Sago palms too. But I very much understand what you're saying, because the area where I grew up at still to this day is orchards. You have the main highway is a 2-lane road, and that's it. Everything else is dirt roads. I can literally get from one place to another with dirt roads out there.
That's pretty much how we came into your town, was back roads, and all of a sudden, poof, we're in the city.
There's 500,000 people here. That's just how Bakersfield is.
It doesn't even seem like that.
It's a little big farming community.
We drove by 200 avocado stands where they're 14 for $1, literally good deals on avocados. And then we were at your house, or at least driving by.
Not to go off on this real fast, but we found out earlier Tom Nally does not like avocados.
Babe, let's get back to the show.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Neither does Zoe, but that's okay. It leaves more for me.
Exactly. I'm I got toast and everything to put this shit on. I'm gonna eat this. Sorry. So
They're good. They're good with Ken's Steakhouse red French dressing, or country French dressing. It's Catalina. Anyways, okay. So the morning that there's cops all over the place, Daddy's leaving for work, and all of a sudden he finds this old man's wallet in the ditch out in the weeds. Okay, just a regular single fold leather wallet. Goes carrying it like this to the cops, like this. I found this. Thought it might belong here, kind of thing. Carrying it like this. You're not going to find a brown leather wallet driving by out in a ditch with weeds as tall as Frank. It's not going to happen, because it's not going to stay on top. It's going to fall in. He didn't find the damn wallet. He knew where it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody will ever make me believe that he found that wallet. That's bullshit. Okay. So he finds the wallet, goes on about it, takes it to the cops, goes on about his business. To me, that sounds like the killer revisiting the scene to see how it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else. We could all see the crime scene. We could all see the cops. Nobody else went over there.
Well, the one thing that arsonists and serial killers and all this other stuff, they all have in common is that they do go back. Arsonists especially, they will go and watch the firemen, everyone heading to their crime.
Except for the Tennessee one, he decided to be in it.
Well, point being, killers, and especially if it was exhilarating for them, male killers have what happens to a lot of male killers, whereas female killers are missionary killers. They just kill because they have what's in their head why they're doing it. Poison is very much a female thing. Whereas male killers, it's very rare and far between where it's not sexually motivated. And to watch, and I'm not saying this, I'm just saying it's a very common aspect of it. To watch the crime too is very exhilarating. To watch the cops come in and do things, to walk up to the cop and say, "I found this wallet." It's very much it's very much gratification for them to be like, "I'm smarter than you. And you're not going to get me." I apologize. I don't mean to red coat.
I mean, I don't really think it was the mentality of that. I think he was going back to check and make sure they didn't think it was him.
Oh,
be the good guy. Found the wallet, helped the cops. Okay,
that's
and
very much true too.
After that, he was questioned 2 or 3 times, but there was, like I said, there was no evidence really because it was pre-DNA and it was a mess from what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I could see from down the road, there was a lot of activity that morning. The police and people looking at stuff, but it was in the 80s. Nobody knew what to do with it yet.
Mm-hmm. And that was really, really early on with fingerprint. Like that was like the beginning of fingerprinting and identifying through that. So that wasn't at that moment. It still wasn't considered viable.
Did he possibly come back? I know you brought up the idea, or you brought up that he came in and he would dress deers down every night or whenever he did go hunting. Did he come back in with bloody clothes later on that night or something along those lines? Or
I don't know what he was doing when he came in, but this is where it gets weird about his wardrobe. Okay, we always kept the dog food in those metal trash cans with the lid on it, like the galvanized cans. We had one of those we kept out. It's like in our little backyard, and that had all the dog food in it. And country, you save a few bags, you put them in the burn pile. Well, I was cleaning all the dog food bags out of there just not long after this happened. And going to feed the dogs and stuff, and I get down to the bottom, and I find his missing set of clothes. I pick up the set of clothes out of there, and I pick it up, and it had so much blood on them that I picked them up, and they stayed like this. They were just stiff. Completely stiff. And I remember it didn't smell like animal blood.
Mm-hmm.
Deer blood has a very distinctive odor. I don't know for people who hunt, but I found these stiff clothes and I put them down. I go get my mother and I show her, and the look on her face, she just told me put them back exactly like I found them and don't ever say a word. And for a long time, that's what we did. But he's dead now, so he can't get me.
Oh wow.
If you get caught with a bunch of weed, you might get life. If you get caught for one little murder, out of a crime of passion, you'll be out in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We didn't discuss this until he was long gone, not openly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
In fact, the lady that he was cheating on my mother with, we divorced him shortly after that. Me and my mother did. We had to go because somebody in our house was going to die. Whether it be one of us or him, because I was going to have to kill him to keep him off of us, because he was escalating. Over the years, he just got worse and worse, especially with the unpredictability. And I remember one instance in particular. I was old enough to stay home finally, because in the 70s and 80s, we were driving at 7 years old, so I was old enough to stay home while they went to get groceries. He'd come into the house with a paper bag of groceries, and it ripped, and canned goods went everywhere, and he just went into a rage, and you knew the rest of the day was about to be real bad.
Yeah, that's very much right there.
Now, I have a question here. Do you think that he did it?
I know he did it.
I mean, in other situations, do you think he may have done this to other people? I mean,
I think this was the first one that went that far, honestly. Because, back as far as being a youth, he had a reputation for drinking and bar fighting. And he taught me as a kid, if you're going to fight, don't ever fight fair, fight dirty. He told me that if you can't beat them, pick up a 2x4 and beat them in the back of the head when they ain't looking.
Do you think that? I think what Liz is trying to really to get out here. So this probably was the first do you think there was probably more after this? I mean, like, how many years afterwards did you? Because you mentioned that you divorced him, or that you guys finally did you guys finally like he finally left or whatnot after the abuse and all that other stuff? Or
Well, we actually left.
do you think this happened more? Sorry.
No, it didn't. He never lifted another finger to anybody after this.
Really?
Yeah, he ended up marrying the lady that he was seeing. In
Mhm.
fact, I talked to her recently after many years because I was kind of mad for a long time.
Yeah.
The child mind. You made me and my blind mother basically be out on the streets and have to fend for ourselves. On less than $600 a month, but at that time, which was really hard some days. But
Uh,
this last time I talked to her, I thanked her for taking him out of the picture, and she, I don't know if I believe her or if I don't, but she claims that she never knew anything about this, and that if she had known how violent he was, that she would have never gotten with him.
Actually, I want to actually bring up Natalie. Actually, brought up a good question here, real fast.
Well,
Why do you think he attacked this old man?
Because she was up basically, I'm just going to call it like I said, she's up there twisting her ass in a bunch of short shorts in front of the old guy next door, and he got wind of it and killed him.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't get to one of the other juicy parts. This man was stabbed with a blade about yonder wide, and a dozen times. Daddy carried, the big brown buck knives.
hmm
How big they are?
Yeah.
The hole in that man's head was about that big around, about the size of the butt of a buck knife.
the bait.
In the forehead. They said that whatever he was stabbed with was turned around and it was hitting the head with it.
Yep.
I had wanted that knife because I collect pocket knives. I have since I was little. And we all, everybody in the country has pocket knives. That's what we carry. Guns, we carry knives, we have dogs.
We have like
Yeah.
20 on our
I
dresser.
can't leave my house without having a knife on me. Or, I mean, if I lived in Texas, I'd leave my house with my 45 on my fucking hip every single day. Like, no joke.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I have to have something here to protect me, to make sure I'm good wherever I'm going.
Carry
or
my AR like a baby.
exactly. Or if I need to cut a rope or get into something, crack a beer open, I have my knife.
Toothpick, toothpick, cut a watermelon, whatever.
Leave the pipe out or whatever I got to do
Since
for
we
weed and
can't
stuff like
carry, since I can't carry
I'm sorry.
guns and stuff around here,
Yeah, call me phone and shit.
I have a Smith and Wesson SWAT knife.
Nice. So do I. I think mine's it's a K-bar. The little bitty one.
I want
Yeah.
to give me more.
Okay, I have a Humvee one like that with the
Nice.
K-bar back.
Mhm.
Yep.
I knew I liked you.
Squirrel moment again here.
Squirrel, sharp objects. Hey, the murderer's kid loves sharp objects. What are the odds?
Little Texas,
anyway.
you guys are big. You guys are real Texas. We're little Texas. You're real Texas. So every time I get a chance to talk to a Texan, I mean, I know I don't have the accent, but at the same time, I'm like,
As he's trying,
you guys,
and it's going to turn into Italian soon.
you guys get to carry real guns, and you guys get to actually be Americans. Let's do this. I'm listening to you guys right now.
And we'll really shoot your ass.
Right?
As I look around my living room at this odd plethora of weapons that are all within like 6 feet of me.
We have a
No
battle
firearms, just random weapons.
What is
Huh?
more American than having a freaking motorcycle in your living room?
We
right
have a battle axe. No joke, we have a battle axe that's as tall as me over
I mean, I
there.
have my rifles and everything behind me, but I can't carry those.
If you lived in Texas, you could.
I know.
I'll get y'all here eventually. Anyways, I had wanted that knife since he got it. I always wanted one like that, and he never would let me have it. Well, guess what? I mysteriously received as a present right after the old man got killed. Daddy got a brand new buck knife, and his kid got the old one.
So
It did not I gotta tell you this, man. It did not register me until I was like 32 years old that he gave me the fucking murder weapon. It did. One day I'm getting ready to go to work. I think at Pizza Hut, and it goes ding. He gave you the murder weapon. That was a trip. I have cut my tomatoes with that, my sandwiches. Cleaned my fingernails with it. He gave his child the murder weapon, and nobody can convince me otherwise.
No.
There was just way too many things tied it together, and he was not home that night.
I mean,
Nice.
for that to happen, I mean, I know you said he didn't kill or anything afterwards. He became actually straight laced. You know, that's what happened.
It's hard to believe.
It's actually not. It sounds like he actually had a moment where he was like, "Holy fuck! If I keep going down this road, I'm just."
Well, the lady he married would have taken him down.
Good.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I do have a question. So the knowledge that you have, you know, where you're like, "Cool, I got this," and then later on you go, "Oh shit," you know, like that obviously had an effect. Like, what did you do with the knife after that?
I had it. I didn't have the knife for many years before it actually clicked in my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lost that pocket knife somewhere along the way. You know, throughout the course of growing up. Knowing me, I probably gave it to a friend or something.
Oh jeez.
Well, the thing I was going to ask.
I know who I gave it to. Oh shit. There's another 12 weeks in therapy.
Wait a second. Holy shit. Did you put your fingerprints on this? Because
You're all,
the one thing I was going to actually say, the fact that he handed it down, do you think he viewed it as, because you said he married the woman, do you think he viewed it as almost like a trophy? Hey, I did this, and this, got away with it, and was like, well, I'm just going to pass it down to my kids now, you know? Because the vast majority of killers who do stuff like this are like, no, get rid of the weapon, get it out of here. You know,
I think it was. He only had a 5th grade education. Okay, I helped him learn to read, so that's the mentality we're dealing. We're dealing with a mountain man, basically.
Yeah.
In the, you know, that was alive in the 70s. He was actually born in like 1935, so it gives you an approximate idea of how old he was.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
You know, and he was still very backwoods, just like the rest of my kinfolk on that side.
My kinfolk are Arkansas. They're from Arkansas. They're from
Mark Tree.
They're from Little Memphis, which is the Memphis 3. That's where they're from.
West
Memphis. West Memphis. Sorry,
I love West Memphis.
They're from West Memphis and Mark Tree.
Yeah, they're very much backwoods.
Which I like saying marked tree because nobody knows where the hell it is, even if I try to point it out to them.
The first time we ever went there, my dad was like, I know we're talking here, but my dad went there with his he had a K-15 Blazer, and my great uncle he went up there to we were at his house, and my dad's like, I want to go drive around the backwoods because it's 4-wheel drive, and my uncle goes, you can't do that, and he's all, well, why not? My dad being a farm mechanic, everything like that, hands like gigantic meat hooks and all sort of stuff, and everything like that. My uncle goes. He says he was shorter than Liz too. He was
not. He was taller than me.
No, he was. He was a badass.
Yes, he was. He was still a badass.
My uncle goes. The minute they see your California plates, they're gonna shoot you.
Yep.
And my dad's like, all right, I'm gonna stay right here.
So
I'd be like, all right, just look at the flowers, Frankie. Just look at the flowers.
My dad's like,
it's like the saddest scene, aside from
my dad
I'm
was
sorry,
like,
Abraham Ford telling them to suck his nuts, and then Glenn getting his head bashed in. I'm sorry, those are the three like most devastating scenes in that whole series to me. Anyway.
Yeah, I didn't do well with the Glenn getting turned into hamburger meat. That one pissed me off. Oddmother, what you got on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, his nickname from childhood was Weasel. Okay, he would have scared her shit if he did it for any reason. It would be to get rid of the evidence in case he got questioned again. No, this is my knife. It looks like it's nothing like the hole in that man's head because the blade was older and worn down. But
what being the era that it was, there the cops were more unlikely. Well,
no, he didn't do it. He handed us the wallet. Why would he have done it?
He was very much good, So
nobody realizing, what you guys were going through at home.
Yeah, well, that was the time in the 80s. No matter where you were at, if there was 80s and prior to that, if there was abuse in the home, and no one, even when they called the cops, it's not my business.
no.
It's still going on in places in the South, where they're like,
yeah, actually,
you're calling for abuse. I'm going to look the other way. The one thing I actually can say, like, I'm not a big fan of a lot of things here in California. It's my home state. I love my home state, but at the same time, California did get it right. If you call for abuse, the cops don't stop. They keep looking and saying, "What the fuck is going on here?" You know.
I'll tell one little story before we get back on track. My experience in the South with people, with calling the police about abuse. There was a boy who was friends with the guy I was with at the time, who I'm still friends with. He's still a great guy. Just didn't, work out. But his son had a friend who was in an extremely abusive home situation, to the point where he would come over and he would cry when he had to go home. And mind you, he was 16 at this time. And he was bigger than Frank and just completely breaking down every time he had to go home. Apparently his mother had stabbed him in the stomach at one point, which is why his father had custody, and his father wasn't much better. We got into it with his dad one day because he was saying I didn't want to go home. He didn't want to go home. So he showed us bruises. We called the police. The police made him go home with his dad. They didn't care.
Yeah,
a few months later,
this was Tennessee,
after
right?
his 17th birthday, not too long after Mother's Day, after he was like, "Happy Mother's Day" to me and everything. And I was like, "Don't say that. I'm too young to be your mom." And I guess he really meant it. But he ended up killing himself because he couldn't handle it. And the police were not listening.
It's one of those times where the police should actually...
We had offered to take him in and adopt him.
It's just one of those things that happens. I mean, and I say California, is, progressing that idea. That only really recently started happening in the last couple years. Like prior to the, I would say even back, 2010 and prior, like cops came to your door, oh, you're being abused, and no one else is really saying anything. I'm just going to walk away. Now cops come to the door, they have an obligation to look into things and stuff like that. And for me, I'm very much, libertarian and all this other stuff. But at the same time, it's like, things need to be looked into at times. Sorry. So Natalie has a question real fast.
So Natalie would like to know, did your mom ever remarry?
And that affected how she saw men afterward.
She was pissed for the rest of her life. She died in 1999, and she never stopped being mad.
Oh, wow.
And yes, she did, but it was, basically, it was for financial convenience, and and convenience for for both parties. Of course, it didn't sell well with me. Like I'm just going to get to the good part. This really is the good part. And she may even see this on Facebook. I don't know. The woman he was cheating with was my great aunt by marriage. It was his uncle's wife. Okay. We divorced Daddy. Those two got divorced, and they switched.
Wait.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to start laughing, but it was a.
I'm sorry. You know what?
The way you said it.
If there's a light in the situation, then the way you said it, Kelly, that just was like, really?
And they switched.
Well, you know what?
I told you I had a good minute.
Done.
I've had a good minute to process all this crap.
So
we get that.
Natalie said that. She says, we had 2 kids in our neighborhood growing up that we thought were just stuck up, but they were actually living in hell with abusive parents.
Yeah.
Okay, I still have the same friends I've had since I was 3 years old. I'll be 49. 49? Yeah. Thank you. I had to ask. I'll be 49 next month. I've had the same.
Was that Chloe or was that
Zoe? You mean?
No, that was Yarg in the back room.
Yeah.
that was the creeper. No, I've had the same friends literally my whole life, and we were talking. I think it was last year, and the one I've been friends with since I was 3 years old. She said I never had any idea that y'all were going through that. I was always jealous of everything that you got because I thought you were just a spoiled, perfect child, with a perfect family. Like, no, far from it.
That's what I got from my people around me when things
Thanks,
were going down. My parents were actually pretty good. It was me who kept secrets and stuff like that because you don't want to talk about things. It's even as a kid, you're like,
something's wrong.
This doesn't feel right. My mom and dad, the day my dad found out something was going on, I swear to God, he was 5 foot. The man
He was taller than me, at least 5'5".
I'm sorry, he was 5'3".
Five.
Oh!
Hi.
He was 5'3",
Thank you.
and
Okay.
when he found out, I remember sitting there on the couch going, I don't want to look at him right now. Because I knew if I looked at him, he was going to go murder the neighbors and everyone else. Because he was that guy that you don't ever fuck with my family and you don't ever fuck with anything like that. And you don't do this to people. He was a very honorable man, and very, very noble.
His birthday
Very,
just passed.
if you would have ever met him, like the one
You
thing he
would have
loved
loved
to do,
him.
he
You would
sat down and
absolutely
smoked
loved
cigarettes
him.
and watched SpongeBob. But you know what? When it came down to you fuck with my family, I'll murder you right now.
When I had green hair, he'd walk up to me and he'd go, "Why is your hair green?
But
Is it moldy?"
Things went down.
It's mildew.
Things went down with my neighbors and stuff like that. And I can remember one night, I was out with the irrigators and stuff like that, and with their kids and stuff like that. This wasn't the same neighbors. I was riding back, and you had a dirt road in between the fields. In between, on one side of the dirt road, you had a pipe going through between both fields. Well, the erosion from the water flowing fast made a gigantic crater, a hole. And I was riding back on my bike, and it was the middle of the night. I didn't see it. I just didn't see it because I was like, you got to be off the road. My dad, I flipped over the hole and busted my lips and neck, everything like that. My dad, being 5 foot nothing, picked me up, ran me over fences and stuff like that, and got me home. Like, he saw me out there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, whenever Daddy wasn't being a fucking psychopath, he was that guy.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes he had to do alternate things, besides his regular job for to get us through like the winter. Back then fur hunting was a thing still, So I mean, he worked his ass off. We never went hungry. We always had a nice little house, simple little country house, but it was nice. We always had something to drive, plenty of food. We always had stuff. And if anybody else had messed with us, he'd have probably killed them. But it's like we were possessions. This is fine. I'll do to it what I want.
So how does that? Okay, so
there's a kitty cat.
that Shimmer, she's a psychopath.
Is that the black one we were talking about?
No, that's the one that jumps off my face in the middle of the night. Toby's the black one that lives at Christina. He lives at Christina's.
Zoe's face in the middle of the night.
No, that's her.
That's her.
Yeah.
She'll sit on her head and go.
Our black cat,
exactly like that.
black cat
Just
is psycho.
close to her ear hole.
Our black cat Damien, he's a psycho. He believes he's a dog, but he has to stay in his own room.
She and I talked about him identifying as a dog last night.
He in the middle of the night, he has to sing us the song of his people.
Yeah, he's trans species. Thank you. And yeah, no, she actually got to hear his little meow, his little, and then I told her, no, he will sing us the song of his people.
So now he said, Kelly, do you think maybe he was bipolar?
I have a question too.
Or some other mental illness that might have caused this too?
I'm not going to rule it out because, nobody knew what bipolar was then. But yeah, he would occasionally it's like flipping a switch. There were certain things that would trigger him. I remember one of the worst ass whoopings I ever got is because I couldn't wait to go to the bathroom until the fucking commercial on the Cowboys game. And I had to walk in front of the TV, and it just knocked my block off. Like, I just had to go to the bathroom. You know.
By the way, Kelly, I'm sorry, I just got your message for checking sound.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You
Thank
sound
you.
You sound great, and we saw your cat.
So I do
Nice.
have a question here. How has that affected you psychologically with the whole, like, there were moments of he was nice and you have some fond memories of this man who you don't like. Like, I know I can say personally, like, my mom's ex-husband molested me. Okay? And the weird part is there are some weird fond memories, even though I know it was all for show. So, like, how does that affect you psychologically, if at all, to this day?
Well, it made me want to study psychology more than have a negative effect on that aspect of it. It made me want to know why people's brains do these things. Why are you like this? But as far as long-term psychological effects that I've noticed myself,
Mhm.
well, I can pinpoint it to when I was about 8 years old when he's like just whipping the shit out of me for something else or, whatever it was that day. And I remember just going blank and look at him and ask him, "Are you finished? I'd like to go play now." And I figured out at that age, all he wanted was to see somebody cry, which is a control thing. We all know that. I can make you do this. I will beat you until you do what I want, which is to submit. And I just quit giving a fuck that day. He wanted to see, emotions and tears to make him happy. Well, he wasn't getting any fucking more. I was done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my mother never got a handle on that, but it has led to some like emotional detachments that I've noticed. Like if I see somebody upset and crying, I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. Like they're there, shut up, you're fine.
Even though I
know?
told her to cry easy for emotional things, when somebody else is crying, I'm like, you want a cookie?
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to cook for you?
Being around, even though like
Yes. Do you want tacos? Will that shut you up?
I can give you tacos. You want beer?
even though like Liz, like everything that's happened to me, like even though like Liz and me are planning to have kids, being around little kids, it's like
Makes me nervous.
It doesn't make me nervous. I'm like, it's literally the robotic motion for me. I'm like, I don't know what to do here, other than like I don't want to.
What do I do with it?
No, it's literally the, it's literally the I know not to. I feel like I'm gonna hurt little kids even by touching them and picking them up.
Right, Kisa? You want some Ben and Jerry's?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's. Uh-oh, Kelly froze.
Ah!
Hello.
Well, we will until she gets back.
Well, to explain on that, Kelly, back out and come in. But for me, like everything that's happened, like with my past, it makes me very awkward around just people in general. You know, I don't know how to act.
I'm
sometimes.
messaging her.
So
back out. Come
back out. Come in. I'm gonna take a drink of beer.
Or maybe I could type that. Ah!
Oh, there she goes. She left.
That wasn't good. I didn't want to see all this.
But you had titties out.
Woohoo!
It's totally different when the kid is yours. Well, no, I get that, Tom. Like, it is very much different. Like, I know when I have kids, when we have Liz and me to start having kids, which is actually going to be very soon.
It has to be. I'm getting old.
But I do understand it's going to be very different. But it's one of those, I see other people who are around kids and are like, oh my God.
That's what I worry about.
I see other people around kids and they're like, oh my God, I love kids, this and this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't know how to act around people. I really don't. You know. And then Jillian, she's here. There's some titties. Go on, show Jillian your boobies.
I already did. That's what she said.
There you go. There's some more titties for you, Jillian.
All
Jillian's
right. Kelly is coming back in a sec.
Yeah.
The computer decided not to connect, so she might come back on the phone.
Oh,
it's okay. We could talk for a second about abuse and anxiety and stuff like that. I the reason why we did this today instead of our normal one is because this is a very triggering subject.
It very much is so because we've
God, babe.
Well, no, we've been talking to Kelly about this for a while. I'm sorry, we've been talking to Kelly about this for months and months now.
We've been working up to this. She was awesome enough to let us know her story, and she said, "If you want to interview me, interview me." Yeah, me too. Him too.
Here she comes.
I'm waiting for it to show up.
There she is.
But yeah, Kelly. I guess I'll finish my sentence.
Get it. I had to switch to my phone.
There we go.
The one thing I learned with StreamYard is that laptops suck, and phones, for some odd reason, especially iPhones and real Androids, fucking work.
And so,
I've used a computer in the last 15 years.
Oh yeah.
Well, so okay. The one thing I'll finish my sentence, and then we'll get back into what we're talking about here. But this is a very triggering subject. We're very aware, and so I know a lot of you guys have been having a little bit of anxiety during this. It's okay,
which is surprising.
I'll say this right now. Damon Barrett had to back out for a second because he started having a panic attack because he had some stuff come up from his past start coming up, and that's the reason why we're saying this right now.
Well, I wasn't going to put him on blast like that.
I apologize, but I'm pretty sure everyone saw it in the chat already.
But I mean, I'm a giant ball of anxiety as well in general, and so I mean, I'm medicated because of it.
I'm a giant ball of beers and fuck something up. It's something makes me upset.
I mean, I've even gotten so bad in anxiety before where I dissociated. And so, Kelly, when you're talking about how you said, "Are you done yet?" It makes me think about the dissociation that I have had, and it makes me wonder, was that almost like a dissociative moment?
We have two Kellys here now.
Ah!
Oh, dear God, they're multiplying.
There you go. Yeah,
Anyway.
back. It's a
Okay, so yesterday when we tried to sneak into your frat boy party,
AKA the shit show.
yes,
it was
a frat party.
It was.
When she and I tried to sneak into your frat party, you walked out of the room. I managed to jump in for a second, and it echoed back and forth for a little bit.
Can we? So Natalie has a question. So Kelly, did you find when you were younger that you had to? And then she's like, I mean, because of your father.
Oh shit!
I
don't mean to giggle at your question, Odd Mother, but oh dear God, I've got a horrible temper. It's under control now, but yes. I mean, I have never started a fight with anyone. I've also never lost a fight that I've been in. I have a bad temper. Well, thank you, Jillian. I'm glad to have you, by the way. I'm glad we're all here. But yes, I had a horrible temper as a kid, but I always tried to find a positive way to direct it. Like for instance, my friends up until how long have I been without my stick? Where's she at?
You have a stick?
Yeah, my whopping stick. Probably about 15 or so since I left Mineral Wells. We always kept me supplied with about a 3.5-4 foot long piece of galvanized steel pipe that I would take my frustrations out on a telephone pole with. I've ruined 2 telephone poles.
Oh wow,
that's completely ruined. They had to replace the last one. I almost feel bad, but nobody got hurt. But yeah, I mean, and I used to do like crap loads of drugs. I did meth for like 18 years, hence the gorgeous smile I have left. Thanks, Odd Mother.
Oh, you're gorgeous regardless, Kelly.
Oh, thanks,
enjoy you.
Frank.
We love you.
I love you guys too.
You know, the one thing, like, you talk about, like, taking the aggression out, like, for me, I did the opposite. When I was a kid, I was like, all my friends are getting into drugs. They're getting into, they're experimenting with shrooms, and it was like
As I'm over here going, when they're legal in California, I'm
no,
so
they actually are. They're actually becoming legal in California.
Never again.
I have
No,
no
but-
problem. Right now, I'll say this right now. At my point in my life, I have no problem with weed and shrooms and stuff like that, LSD. But
Yes,
when
I
I
do.
when I was in junior high, and I did the opposite. I was like, my aggression actually went the opposite way. Everyone around me started getting into all this other stuff, and I was all, no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to. And I
and
actually
he went extreme.
no, I really did.
Straight
I went very straight edge, and I was very much. I'm having beers now. I started having beers at the end of high school, but I remember my senior year was a blur because I was drunk, and I graduated on the honor roll. But I remember prior to that, like, it was like no, and it was mostly due to the aggression that came from the abuse that I experienced, and it was one of the things that did help me out so much. Is, I mean, you see me now, it's being a metalhead, like, it literally. I remember crying my eyes out. That was back in the day, not so much now. I remember
That wasn't Frank. That was Patricia.
that was Patricia. Dear God, everyone called me Patricia back in the day. They really did. They really did. You know how bad I was. It was Francesca and Patricia.
I can understand Francesca, but I do like that Patricia
No, it was
works
Patricia.
there.
I found
Patricia.
for me, I found everyone's gonna be like, oh, they
Oh
sold out.
shit! I'm
found,
sorry, Ray.
Yeah.
I'm putting it up for a second.
Yeah, really intense flashback. I'm sorry, Ray. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
For me, I discovered in 7th grade because I got out of therapy. Therapy wasn't helping me because it was state-ran therapy. I found Metallica. I found metal. I found it, and it literally pulled my aggression out because I realized that the metal community and stuff like that, like the focusing on the negativity and pulling it away from yourself, and actually realizing there's people there to help you, even if you're not talking. There's someone else out there who's like you, you know. And from Metallica to Slayer to Megadeth to Cradle of Filth to black metal to death metal to the most underground black metal band, that's what literally saved my soul.
I know that this is going to be really shocking to all of you guys.
These titties saved us all.
But I went punk rock. I mean, shocker, right? Like,
I learned
No.
to play classical piano and
actually,
guitar, and there's a piano
Actually,
back there.
I do know how to play classical piano. I learned how to
Clearly.
play for Elise
Mhm.
by ear.
Cool. I can play part of it, but then there was way too many spots on the paper, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll play something else.
Read the spots,
I
but
can
I
play
can do it.
tablature with my IV. That's all
And
I can
once
do.
you
Like,
get into the second stanza where it gets all like robust, that's my favorite part to play.
It looks like somebody dumped a jar of fleas on a sheet of typing paper. Yeah, that's where I lost it.
I can remember myself screaming out in the middle of the night. I can remember myself screaming out throughout the day, please help me. I can't get this pain away from me. And the minute I discovered music, choir, everything like that, like, it really pulled everything away from me and gave me therapy.
So when I was little, if Daddy got mad, he would take my instruments away. Odd Mother, it was music and motorcycles, and walking in the woods with my dog and
Can we
guns.
see your motorcycle again right now? If you can just pan around. I fucking love that you have it in your living room. It's right there.
That's Susan. Yeah,
Hi, Susan.
and she goes broom broom.
You started
Kisa, yes, if you want to message me anytime, there's actually a book going to be coming out. I don't know the name of it yet. It should be out the end of the month. about the haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells that Keisha was asking about. And I have friends that lived there for about 20 years, and I have a lot of experience in that house. But I was recently interviewed for a book about it, for my experiences there. Oh, thanks, Odd Mama. And I ended up having the privilege of doing about a 4-hour paranormal tour of the house myself. They turned me loose with meters and all kinds of stuff, and now the nightmares are back
Oh shit.
twice as bad. Yeah, I've had nightmares about the house for years.
If it helps any, this is going to be minorly hilarious. I watch tons of zombie movies and they never scare me. And I watch horror movies and I
Until you get
laugh.
stressed out.
I laugh and laugh at all horror movies.
Every single time she gets stressed out, I hear.
I have zombie nightmares.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying it this way. I don't hear, but I talk to her in the morning, like as I'm going to work, because I always make it a point to talk to Liz when we wake up. Obviously, because I love her, and it's like, hey, I love you. I'm going to work. Can you put the stuff in my hair, the R&B, and all this other stuff? I really like it. It's so cool when my wife does my hair for me. I don't know why. I have long hair. But another thing, I always make it a point. I make it a point when I'm heading down the freeway to call her or whatnot, because I like to talk to her prior to I'm going to work. Because when I get to work, it's either I'm not busy and I can text, or I'm 90% of the time I'm super busy and I'm just getting into our Psycho Bunny chat. I'm like, hey, love you, good people. Have a good day, or whatnot. Text me when you need me.
The normal where he's like, "What's up, you badass motherfuckers?"
Yeah, then like it's like I'm silent for the rest of the day because I am busy as fuck. Until like 4:00, which is 6:00 your time. But I always make it a point to at least talk to Liz.
Yeah, when I'm stressed out, I have zombie nightmares.
And that's where I was getting at. Like,
Yeah.
she told me that she's all, I had a zombie nightmare. I was like, I know you're stressed. There's a situation that's happened here, and you're stressed as fuck.
I literally, and then, okay, I'm going to tell another really weird one, and I told your mom about this. I had a dream. You know that squirt and mop stuff? Like, you squirt on the ground, mop?
Did you squirt in the ground?
No, I had a dream your mom decided to drink it.
Mop and glow? That'll give her shiny. If she survives it, it'll give her shiny hiney.
You know what? I gotta go. I'll see you guys later.
Shiny hiney. No, I told her.
Sit down,
no,
Mom.
in the dream, I swear to God, I was sitting there screaming at you like, it's not a dream. Don't drink it.
I gotta go. We're done. We'll see you guys later. I'm out. I'm gonna go.
Swiffer went.
And why does that blue toilet cleaner smell minty? That's not cool. I mean, just a thought.
Why
Yeah,
does your cake smell minty? And
Urinal
awesome?
cake.
I don't know.
I'm like walking there going, I don't want to like this. No, I'm gonna hold my nose. That's got pee on it. I'm gonna hold my nose the entire time. No.
So I have run out of questions, but I know that there are more.
I noticed that. Can you put that comment back up that Daniel made?
Yes.
Nike,
About the degradation? Yes.
Used by my mother, and she degraded me. Okay.
Daniel, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Just know that when people do things like that to you, that they are humans in growth most of the time, and they just don't know any better. They just don't. When you beat somebody down, it's generally because you have a low self-image, and it gives the illusion of building themselves up by taking everybody down around them. So just try to get past it.
I'm sorry.
Talk about
Yeah, I do too. But you can grow past the degradation, but it just takes a minute. A lot of times. But Daddy's pet names for me were things like fat, stupid, lazy. To this day, the word stupid is a trigger for me.
Yeah.
I very seldom even use it playing around.
Mhm.
I absolutely refuse to call people names. And the other day, I was a girl.
I get angry and I'll do it, but I won't do it like.
A girl was walking in front of me in my warehouse, and I was just doing the thug thing, and she's all, "Oh, you're following me," and I was like, and I literally was like, it just popped in my head. I knew she would laugh at it, but at the same time, I was like, "Bitch, you know I'm a stalker." And then like immediately after that, I was like, I'm so sorry, because for a second there, it's funny as fuck, but because I really was stalking parts, I was putting them up and all this other stuff, and like literally a second there, it goes through your head again. You're like, that sounded really bad. And then she's like, no,
Especially at
no, no.
work.
She's like, well, she was actually a really awesome person. She's like, no. I understand. You're just playing around. I was like, I want you to know that I don't ever talk like that. I actually had to tell her that. I was like, I don't talk like this. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't like it. You know, I was like, I know it's funny at the time, but it's just not right. You know, I want you to know I'm not like this. You know, because I was called, you know, my
I was always the chubby kid.
my ex was very much verbally and physically and mentally abusive. I was with her for 16 years. And prior to all the abuse I had before, and that's what it was. You know, I don't call people names. I really don't. I make it a point to never call people names.
I'm
basically
sorry.
giving over all my Mikey, I'm sorry.
Daniel.
Oh, Daniel, sorry. Calvin, what did he say?
Calvin said his father's 85 and still calls him names.
Yeah,
Thunder thighs. Yeah, I've gotten that one.
I'm sorry.
This isn't about me at all, but my mother. I am eternally fat. This is my mother and my grandmother. I am eternally fat. I have always needed to lose weight, even when I was like 100 pounds. Chunky is life.
Tom,
I'm okay with being it now. Like, I'm okay now.
I'm sorry. I'll say this right now before you even go into it. Thick chicks are the best chicks.
nobody
Mike,
wants to cuddle with a stick.
The
You guys are all lovely and nice and huggable and everything like that. And you guys are super awesome all the time. And your
Our
smile is
favorite-
amazing.
Our favorite phrase: the bigger the chupa, or the fupa, the tastier the chalupa.
I
Yeah,
saw
but-
that on Facebook today.
I found out on
I was
Facebook too. and I
dying
was like,
laughing when I saw it. I was like,
"Oh, babe," and she's all wet. I was like, "Babe, look, and she's all,
thanks.
"Well, I mean, thank you." I was like, "Yeah, all right."
We like
But
you a little fluffy too, Frank. You squishy, squishy.
I'm a big dude. I'm a big dude. I'm a
Yeah, I'm
huge
probably
dude.
getting me a Frank hug next time we come by there. We're coming to dinner. I'm gonna hang out.
I know COVID got bad, and you guys can come back to California until you're ready or whenever.
Calvin, I also chunky dunk.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
But we will we'll be having a trip there this year at some point.
Well,
Just
We
not
are
during
hoping-
October.
Well,
be a
we are
little busy.
hoping to try to head out south at some point in the
Hoping-
summer.
to move to Texas, Georgia, or some other place in California.
Actually,
Right now.
we're gonna buy land. We're starting a compound. We'll save you a
I'll
spot.
do it.
Let's do it.
Dude, just get badass internet. I'll run all your guys' shows like always. That's all I require. So
We've hit the hour mark.
we've hit
I
the
had
hour
a
mark.
couple.
Story's been told.
I had a couple more questions, but I don't. I'm not sure. I forgot what they were.
Jillian,
Just wing it like that. That's what we do best.
grab Kelly and Zoe and bring her with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then Jillian, where's Jillian?
Where's Keisha? Where are you at?
Jersey is nice.
Joyzy? You from Joyzy?
Issa, where are you at? Real fast before we take off from here.
Join us, Calvin.
Please.
Hey, like I said before, like I've been joking around about this for years with some of my friends because I mean I have extensive plant knowledge and how to utilize them.
He could
He
murder
says in-
someone.
Georgia, by the
Ooh,
way.
with Natalie is hidden in Georgia. Natalie
But-
is Odd Mother is
Hidden.
hidden in Georgia too.
I mean I have no problem caping a deer and butchering it after shooting it. Okay, don't get me wrong.
Yum, yum.
I cried when I shot my first deer.
I have no problem eating the deer.
I really did.
I will eat the fuck out of a deer.
I have no problems butchering a chicken.
Our Sprouts gets boar meat.
And I don't mean
It's
this,
amazing.
guys, as like let's go all like Santeria here. Like that's not what I'm talking
I'll go
about.
send her.
I'm
Let's
not-
have a ritual. I'm fucking
We're not
this shit.
doing
That's
voodoo.
next week, right?
That's next week.
I'll do
Okay.
the. I
Um,
don't give a fuck. You guys want to do a ritual? Let's do this shit.
we
I
have
just happen to have holy oil right here, just in
we have
just in
Santeria
case.
people behind us. Well, did
I just when I recently went to the haunted hill house, I went with this.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I came out with only nightmares. Again.
So see, and Natalie can garden like nobody's business.
And Mikey says he's here too. Mikey's in Texas.
Okay.
He's in Mission. Sorry.
His hidden profile.
Daniel.
You fucking gave it away now.
Oh fuck! Everyone knows who.
God.
Sorry, bro. I'm drinking.
I don't know who half the people in our group are anymore. Like, where do all these people come from?
We actually, since something happened in our day, we get
Yeah.
We've been getting a lot of viewers
we
lately.
get a lot of
So,
viewers now.
Well, today I spent my whole day trolling a pipe organist page, listening to classical music on pipe organs from around the world, and a lot of shit happened in the world apparently that I don't know about.
oh, hey, so before after we get off of here, stay on here for a second.
Mhm.
I have to put this up real fast. I know we're leaving in a second.
Because he hates Sublime.
I hate Sublime, but that lyric,
I don't
it's always
practice
in my head.
Santeria. I don't know crystal ball.
Hey.
But I had
That-
$1 billion, but I'd spend it all.
All right.
I have something to say to the other people who have been victimized in here because apparently, we're all broken as fuck in this room. But
That's why we're here.
We're not broken. We're calloused, and we're stronger because of it.
yes, that's kind of where I was headed.
Let her talk.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
How you deal with the things that we were given is all a matter of perspective and choice. Yes, you're going to be mad. Yes, things hurt. Yes, there's long-term brain damage that comes with it.
Yeah.
But you have your choice. If I'd have turned out like him, we wouldn't be having this conversation. My choices were to act like him or do the complete opposite because everything he was doing was evidently wrong, even to a child. It's like, this is all fucked up. I'm 5. Why are you hitting me in the head? That's not cool. You're putting, brushing my hair because I've had this my whole life. He was the best hairbrusher I've ever been around. Never pulled a tangle, nothing. Thanks, odd mother. But at the same time, he might knock your block off for walking through the room at the wrong time.
Nazi.
But it's all what you want to do with yourself. Post trauma. Do you want to be like the people that did this and make other people like this, or do you want to be better and lead by example, not how not to be a fucking asshole?
Exactly.
And granted, I am an asshole when provoked. I do have a short temper once I get to mad, and it occasionally still goes off, but not like it used to because I'm old and that takes energy. But it's all perspective on how you want to be perceived and how you want to actually be. Because I don't think anybody ever wakes up, and one morning goes, I think I'm going to be the biggest douchebag I can find today. I'm going to go out and kick the cat and make somebody cry. I'm going to push little old ladies down. Nobody wakes up and does that.
You'd be surprised in California.
For me,
Well, yeah, San Francisco, hand them a steering wheel and I automatically hate them. I promise you.
I'll say this. For me, for my experiences, you do have a turning moment. You do have a moment when things kind of come to a head and you're like, do I go this path or do I go that path? And for me, I was like,
Sorry.
babe, come on.
I just thought it was funny.
For
Hey,
me,
Don, how you doing?
for me, it was there is a turning moment, and you do have a choice. You do have a choice to stop experiencing what is going on. And finally be like, I'm not going to do this anymore, regardless of what happens. And you said it yourself when that happened for yourself. It was like, can I go play? I'm done crying. Can I go just get away from you right now? And it was kind of the same thing for the abuse that was happening to me for my neighbors and stuff like that. Like, it was like, hey, I'm doing this, or this is happening to me. I'm sorry, I'm doing this. This is happening to me. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to walk away because I'm actually becoming bigger than you. I don't need to do this anymore. And it went on for me for from kindergarten to second grade. You know, it's a terrible thing. And like after that, you have to deal with the effects. But you're like, I don't ever want to project this onto anyone. This is terrible. You know, this is absolutely horrible.
Natalie said, I think for me, the reaction cycle was the hardest for me towards other people. Yeah, it's very hard to break.
Well, abuse in general for me, like one thing I've learned is like it's lycanthropy. It's werewolfism. It very much is. When abuse is projected onto a person, you will have a choice. You can either be aggressive and say screw it, I'm gonna go along with this, or you're gonna be like, no, I need to not do this. And the choice is not. It's not very much visible, but you just feel it. You know, it's weird.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm not. It's something that I've recognized, like from myself and other people I've talked to, with it. Like it's like they've all kind of said the same thing. Like it's lycanthropy. It's very much evil. It's weird. So.
But yes, exactly, Tom.
I'm not trying to push my experiences on anybody else. It's just,
kitty face.
So
yeah, I got bullied in school too because I was the tall kid, the fat kid, the smart kid, the weird kid. All of it rolled up into one. And fortunately, I had a couple of really good teachers that treated me as a where I was mentally and instead of the sixth grader, and they gave me positive role models. And Daddy's cousin's wife, really, really great lady, she helped us get out of the house. Two of our neighbors did. They smuggled our shit out of the house that we were going to need starting like a month or so in advance before the day we left.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God I had a few positive adults outside of the house because, what me and my mother learned from each other was teamwork and survival, and how to take care of your own, because it was us against the world for a long time. Because she would watch my back and I would watch hers. I've seen that little blind old lady flying tackle him. In Mortal Kombat, how Raiden does that sideways thing. In fact, I still have a scar on one of my hands. He was trying to hit me in the face with a belt buckle that night, and my mother and my dog intervened. Actually, my dog grabbed him by the hamstring, or the Achilles tendon by his heel. Little rat terrier started shaking the shit out of him. He kicked the dog. The dog come back. About that time, my mother just takes off and flying sideways, hits him, takes him off his feet, and that. It's like, when you distract your dog from chewing on something, he's like, okay, I'll go do this now. It's like, back to what I was saying a little while ago, it's all what you take from it. I learned loyalty from her through that with her. Loyalty to those that are good to you. I learned how to protect the things that you love and how to be protected, when you can't do it yourself.
Yeah, I see.
Instead of being weak and being a victim, it made me one strong fucking bitch. I try not to use bad words here, but
we already have warnings.
We got the warning up.
We got warnings.
We're 18.
Okay.
No, yeah. I see kids now, and I'm like, when I find out like someone's being abused, sexually, physically, or not, I almost like want to murder the person who's abusing them. Like it's just like, it's one of those things. Like it's just. After everything I went through, it was like, no, I never want to see someone go through this shit ever again, ever. It's
to this day, I have to watch my temper to not accidentally turn into him when I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Go from just mad to being the bully that will say and do anything just to make it stop.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, I think we went over an hour and a half.
We're almost at an hour and a half.
We're almost at an hour and a half.
So Kelly, thank you.
My pleasure, guys. It's been interesting.
I know we got ADD off track, but that's usually how our conversations always go.
Well, that's the best conversations ever,
Yeah.
We all can off each other. We can actually have a conversation. We can actually. Kelly's got her chicken.
Pecker.
She's gonna choke. She's got her pecker.
Yeah, the other one's named
You know,
I want the 3 foot tall one like Second has.
the one thing I
I'm
actually
still sending you the the pink. Or I found the colorful ones, the green
the
and the
best
blue
is the
ones.
Star Wars when they're all.
I showed that to her. I showed her.
You know, I teach all my rubber chickens how to say "mama," right?
How? Do it. Do it. Odd mother, this is for you. You know,
Cock Von Peckerhead. I'll name that. That's what I'm naming the next one.
I can say this right now.
You're welcome, Odd Mother. Commander Cock Von Peckerhead. Go ahead.
Kelly, through your strength,
God damn it! It won't go away.
through your strength and telling your story, it makes me able to tell my story. You know, and that's one thing. It's a good thing to actually take from all this. That when you're able to come on here and actually say, "Hey, this happened to me and this happened to me," and then like you have another person come in and say, "You know, this happened to me and this happened to me," it that's how you get a community going. You have actually have people going, you know what, let's learn from each other's experiences like that and actually build off of that, opposed to the destruction that people cause for us. You know what I mean? It's like that. You know.
Well, you know,
one positive. I'm sorry, Liz. But one positive thing that I did get out of the whole experience was it made me one creepy ass haunt actor.
Yeah.
You know, because I play the psycho serial killer. You know, where I wear somebody else's face in the haunt.
Look,
you know, and I feed into that. I feed from that darkness for Halloween.
Jugs Unright.
You have Jugs Unright. You have
Jugs Unright. Yes.
You got D-Face is somewhere in your house right now, creeping around right now.
It's actually D-Face.
John has choked his chicken.
Look, Frank, see that right there? Let's see.
It's the face. I see it.
Oh, I see
right there. It's laying on top of my stereo. There's 2 of them laying there, and one across the room over there. That's 3 of them.
And whoever I can't think of whoever else. What's
I have the original Chaos mask over there. When he was red and white.
You have all of them creeping around.
So,
Odd Mother has
nice.
Odd Mother is in a cart, is in a box somewhere with Natalie, and Natalie put her away. She can't control her on Wednesdays. I'm sorry, Odd Mother comes out. You know.
Although,
I keep mine on the dining room table in case of emergency.
Just answer the door.
Yeah.
I wear it out in the driveway every now and then. Just go stand out there and stare blankly at the sunset, or you know.
I saw one thing that said something about like every once in a while I go outside and I start vacuuming the grass just to make sure that the neighbors never speak to me.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I like to dust the roof.
Do get us in touch with the macabre. It's very much true. Because
Jesus Christ, Don.
Because we want to.
Julian. You're awesome too.
We look at things like we actually see because of everything that happened to us. We do. For me, I'm like serial killers. Like obviously, we're supposed to be right. Like tonight we interviewed you, but other than that, we're like talking about murderers all the entire time and rapists and all that other stuff because of everything that happened to me. I'm like, well, I want to see what makes people. I want to see what makes you make people tick. You know, I like this psychology behind everything because I never ever want to see someone go through that again. And I don't glorify killers, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, let's talk about them because it's history. Everyone needs to know what's going on in the fucking world. Everyone needs to know who's around you.
I mean,
if you're not aware of the types of people there are in the world, they'll eat you.
Exactly.
I mean, they'll eat you alive.
Exactly.
Yeah. And by the way, if I suddenly die, somebody delete my YouTube search history for the love of God. Just saying.
I'm probably on some kind of watch list.
I'm gonna be like,
yeah, next to me.
I'm probably on some kind of watch list from all the research that I do.
I want people to go see what I looked up on the efuck.com. So
oh my God, stop. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Kelly, please stay after the show.
Okay, hey, and Kisa, message me and I'll tell you all about that house. Maybe not tonight because I'm getting kind of sleepy, but yeah, I'll tell you all about it.
So thank you, Kelly, for joining us and telling us your story.
Thank you very much. So
extreme.
My pleasure, guys.
Put a novel up.
Hold on, Tom has a novel.
Okay.
I have to say,
I truly love and care for all of the PBDC family. You have all been such awesome people. Took me in, accepted me, even when I'm being annoying and making Frank laugh while Liz reads. Yeah, I'd
or
like
passing
to
out and
throw
wrecking
things.
your fucking laptop in front of
Y'all
us.
are getting shock collars, by the way, Frank. You and Tom are getting shock collars for
Thank you. I cannot begin
lives.
to express my
I only got
appreciation
drunk and
to
farted
all
myself
of
awake
you.
once.
and the content maker.
I made Kelly
This
laugh.
is why you're. This is why you're getting a shock collar. This is exactly. Now, would it be fair for me to give you the
last
button
time-
for the shock collar, Kelly?
The last time the
Yeah, no, we'll trade off.
Okay.
the last time you had D-Face come out and control everything, I was
Hi, Maud.
I was sick with COVID. I was not fucking with anybody. I was like sitting there snoring myself awake. I'm sorry.
All right. Well.
Can we put Tom's comment back up so we can finish the last half of it?
Okay.
There we
thank you.
go.
So, took me in and accepted me even when I am being annoying and making Frank laugh while Liz reads. Shock collars. We're going to do it. I cannot begin to express my appreciation to all of you, the content makers, as well as everyone in the chats.
We're all a big family.
Yum!
Yum, yum, yum. We're all a big family. We're here for each other. And you know what?
And you know what? We include you guys that are in the chat, too.
Yeah. We're here to talk about our experiences and get them out there. You know.
So, yeah.
And we're grateful for Kelly for telling us her histories with that. Everything that happened with her and her father, everything, we're very grateful for that. So this is awesome. You know, this is something. I just knocked my phone over.
Okay. So,
This is something we've been planning for a couple months, and
Yeah,
we've been
surprise.
going, "Hey, if you're cool with this,
I was refusing to say the name. And it was so
Mhm.
funny because I actually told my people on MeWe, like, hey, I'm interviewing the daughter of a killer tonight. You know, we have an interview going on. And if you guys want to check it out, feel free to check it out. But I know most of you don't really like Facebook, so I get it. I'll send you guys the link to the YouTube afterwards or whatever. And they were like, which one? I was like, I'm not telling you anything until you just come join us. Like, well, first off, you wouldn't know my friend. Second, like, I'm not telling you shit. You need to join.
I like the concept of, I'm always on here all the time, either being a clown or defaced or the crazy musician. Guess what?
You're all but.
you
Yeah.
are not a crazy musician. Dear God, you are one of the most best guitarists I've ever heard."
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting there watching like, I can't do that. I know I can do E A B A E A B A. That's what I can do. And I'm like, she's playing zombie right now. Yeah.
And, I couldn't even tell you the chords of almost anything I play if I had to think about it. I'm like, I don't know. I just do it.
Frank is pretty.
Apparently, Frank is pretty.
He is. He got part of my mouth.
Pretty sure that's Daniel.
Damn it, Daniel. Damn,
All
Daniel.
We're taking off.
All right, Kelly, stay for just a moment. I have something to show
Okay.
you. Please remind me that it's opera. I know which one we're playing. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. It has been a wonderful hour and a half.
Hour and 38 minutes.
34.
And I
Anyway,
got 35. None of us can tell time.
Fucking metal.
have a wonderful night, guys.
Talk about your pain. Express.
Thanks.